All right, we're back live, and Jim Mars is here with us on location. He was showing me what he bought at the Walmart earlier. They're selling little scissors. Part of the new sacrament in America is that all the feminists chop their husbands' testicles off so they learn how to serve the New World Order better.
No, every reporter has to have one of these so you can clip out clippings, so you keep up with everything.
Exactly.
And when people say, how do you know that? You go, here, I've got a news clipping.
Exactly. It's documented. That was an attempt at lame humor, and I apologize to the family audience out there. I'm a little bit out of control. Jim Mars started his career as a crime reporter on the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He's been covering the JFK assassination forever. And on top of that, he wrote the book that was used as the primary tome for the hit film JFK with Oliver Stone. And he joins us here at the Lakewood Theater in Dallas, Texas. This way you don't have to drive to Austin to be on the show.
That's right.
So you're right here with us, and I should be plugging our Dallas affiliate, which I'll do actually in the next segment.
You want me to tell you how many RFID readers and photo cameras I passed coming down I-30?
How many?
Well, I was counting them. There was like about 27 or 28.
Yeah, but 20 years ago when you warned people about that, it wasn't going to happen.
Oh, I was the conspiracy theorist and nut.
And, of course, world government wasn't going to happen. Now it's all public.
Right.
And the very bankers that, international bankers aren't going to get us. That's a conspiracy theory. But now the big mega banks are taking over.
Listen, 30 or 40 years ago when I was working, I worked with a guy who was with PR advertising for some big banks, and we used to joke about it. He'd say, listen, when they send you that World Bank card, don't take it. You know, and now we all have one.
Oh, Time Magazine says the Bank of the World and authoritarianism, but bankers, these aren't dictators. These are technocratic bankers. They're going to run everything, and they're going to raise your taxes, but they care about you.
I don't think so.
Oh, but the big six banks fund eugenics and say they want to kill us. I mean, that's loving.
Hey,
it's for the earth.
They were just uncovering a big banking scandal over in England right now, and the guy got up in the House of Lords and said, you know, this amount of money we're talking about here could actually provide basic health care to every man, woman, child in America for 12 years. That's how much money, folks, is flowing out of this country.
The wealthy West funds the mega corporations' world government. Our tax money isn't just corporate welfare; it's empire welfare.
That's right.
And we don't even get the booty.
No.
I mean, even if you were immoral, it's like you're paying for it. You're not getting anything back.
No, they get the booty. We just get the boot.
Exactly. That'd be a good bumper sticker. Let me bring this up. What is it like for you fighting the New World Order now for 30 plus years on, very prominent all over every History Channel, Discovery Channel, ABC? I mean, you're the go-to guy. Half the time I walk around the office, they'll have some History Channel or Discovery Channel show on, and there's Jim Mars. What is it like for you to go from, that guy that's a conspiracy theorist, to now secret arrest of citizens, military on the streets, license plate reading cameras, world government? But we're right about it all, but still we're bad. I mean, how do you describe that?
That's exactly right. Well, I've been kind of on the cutting edge all along because, back in the mid-'60s, I said, hey, the Kennedy assassination, that's a big conspiracy. Oh, you're just a nut. And then I said, Vietnam, this war, it's going to end badly. Oh, you're just a nut. Hey, I said, Nixon's a crook. He's not going to serve out his term. Now you're just a nut. And so it just goes on and on and on. But when you stay ahead of the curve, see, now I try to tell them, hey, they're spraying us with chemtrails, Oh, you're just a nut.
Even though the government admits, but says it's a secret program.
Oh,
but you're kooky to ask. But there is a program, $7 billion a year at least, but don't discuss it.
And patents that they file.
Sure, but they don't discuss it, though.
But no, we don't want to do that. And then, I try to talk about, you can even go to 9/11, and there's the theory that some of those airplanes have been captured, the computer captured by remote control.
They don't have drones. Those don't exist.
You can't do that. And now I go to the movies and see ads for the Air Force, and they're saying, hey, come join the Air Force. You can sit down there.
Joe Kennedy's son died in World War II.
In a remote-controlled plane.
Well, well, he was in the plane behind the big bomber they were going to use as a cruise missile. Yeah, right. Remote controlling it.
Yeah.
But didn't exist in 43, though.
And that was in 43. In the 1980s, I was interviewing an airline pilot for a big Boeing wide-body jet, and he said, my job's just redundant. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, the computer flies the airplane. He said, I'm just there in case the computer breaks.
Listen, I want somebody to find this because I saw this live on C-SPAN, and it was a New York City police press conference with this weird soundboard. It's like cream colored with holes in it behind them. Everybody knows what I'm talking about if you watch New York press conferences. And George W. Bush, the president's coming to New York the day after. He's given his, we're going to get the people to knock these towers down speech. And he gets up and he goes, don't worry. We've got remote control on all the aircraft in the future. We're going to be able to stop them from doing this. And actually, somebody behind him reaches up and jerks on his shirt. And he goes, oh. But I mean, I saw this.
I know you did, because what I have documented is that early in 2001, months before 9/11, the head of British Airways made a talk and said, we don't have to worry about hijacking anymore because we now have the ability to capture the onboard computers and we can guide it into a safe landing regardless of what the crew or the hijackers want.
And then later I found out they actually, on those 2 aircraft that were used, they have the exact system was in place.
Exactly. But of course that's just conspiracy theory, right?
They don't have remote control aircraft.
Well,
the entire Air Force in 8 years is going to be totally drone, but it doesn't exist.
Right, but that doesn't exist. Well, it's the difference between people who know things and people who watch television.
I think that is the difference. Of course, we make television.
Right.
We don't watch it, but we are on television.
Right. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Somebody who comes back from home from work, sits down.
No, they keep us on the treadmill.
Watches CNN.
They're on that gerbil.
Right.
We're not bashing Fox.
Watches Fox, and then goes to bed, thinks they've learned everything. And if they don't see it on CNN or Fox or read it in their local syndicated newspaper, then, it can't be real.
Well, Jim.
And yet all you have to do is look around you, see what's going on. Do I understand that now the TSA is starting to set up spot checkpoints in Dallas?
Remember me years ago? I saw them on C-SPAN. They always tell us 9 years ago. They hadn't even made Homeland Security cabinet yet. It was 2002, early 2002, a few months before they made it an official agency of the cabinet under executive power. And they said, you're going to have to get TSA to get a job. We're going to be on every street corner, and it's going to be kind of a federal force everywhere. And we're going to train your police. And there'll be threat fusion centers. They had all these corporate leaders there, yes. So I've been telling folks, TSA's coming to your streets. They're now in every major city. And I've seen newscasts where you're driving down the road in Tennessee or Michigan,
right,
and they actually grab your wife out and grab her breasts on the side of the highway.
Okay,
it's a total act of submission.
Now, answer me this, because it's all due to 9/11 and it's all due to the fear of the terrorism, right? Exactly how many terrorists has the TSA caught?
They admit zero.
Zero. None.
But the Dallas Morning News says,
none.
Thank God they're helping. Forget 10th Amendment, states' rights. They're going to be at all the DART stations now there, and they're going to have to feel your genitals.
Well, see, then you can, using that same logic, you could say that they're protecting us from the vampires.
Exactly.
Have you seen a vampire around lately?
No. Well, I saw Jan Napolitano.
Well, yeah, but we're
not sure.
We're not sure about her.
She's a dung beetle.
So see, TSA has protected us from vampires because we don't see any around.
Well, I used to make the joke that, hey, there could be a terrorist in a cornfield in South Dakota, send troops there. And now the government's saying, oh, yes, anywhere. We've got to protect you, so we've got to be everywhere.
That's right.
Who protects us from them, though?
Exactly. Who will watch the watchers?
Now, we're going to go to break in a moment, and I want to take some calls, not in this next segment, but the segments after that. What is... Because I never do pre-interviews, you know this, my friend. What is front and center on your radar screen when we come back that Jim Mars is going to have the floor while I hit the latrine? I'm joking. I'll do that during the break. What is Jim Mars going to be covering?
Well, that's a good question. I just didn't take questions because there's so much going on, it's hard to pinpoint it.
You want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, my big thing is if we're really supposed to be so afraid of worldwide well-financed, well-heeled, deadly terrorist organization, Al-Qaeda, then the first thing it seems to be that we should be doing is securing the border. And yet you probably saw the news film where they used a car jack and jacked up the fence.
Stay there. I want to hear about this when we get back. All right, Alex Jones here on the road, coming to you from Dallas, Texas, where I'm going to premiere a film and give a speech tonight. And I invited Jim over, and I'm glad he accepted. Coming up in the next two final segments, we're going to open the phones up for your questions or comments for Jim Mars or other issues you want to raise. The toll-free number to join us is 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-ALEX. If you want to join us, again, 877-789-ALEX here on this live Sunday edition. But Jim, during the break, you thought, wow, what do I want to talk about? What is most important on my radar? And you said it was?
Yeah, the move to try to get us into a war with Iran. You know, I mean, they've been trying this since the Bush administration. Everybody thought, oh, well, that was and are we any better off? No, they're pushing for war too. In fact, let me ask you, Alex, and I know you know this, of all the possible Republican candidates and Democratic candidates out there, who's the only one that says maybe we shouldn't go to war?
Well, he's the guy named Ron Paul.
Oh, well, you're not supposed to mention him. He's a non-person.
He can't win, even though he's number 2 or number 3 in all polls.
I don't know.
Gets 70+% of all the military donations because the military doesn't like him.
He gets more donations from the military than anybody else.
During some of these debates, they're like, how dare you not want war? How dare you hate our troops? Of course, they all support him. But
the troops got it. In fact, but listen to this. This tells us a lot. He's got the most campaign contributions and support from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. But wait a minute. According to the campaign numbers, the money coming from the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, 0. Now, doesn't that tell you something?
Oh, yeah, I saw those numbers. So the foreign banks that run our military,
yeah,
they know he's an American, so he's the enemy.
That's right.
But isn't it encouraging that the military is awake?
They are, and I have recently been talking to some...
That march happened today. Guys, will you look up what's happening with that D.C. march, with the veterans marching? What happened with that?
Yes.
I'm going to ask the crew to look that up with Adam Kokesh. We had him on. I want to cover that. Go ahead.
Well, I want to just say this because I have an charge for the United States Army. I've served, okay? I've been in the military. In fact, I was in military intelligence, which even then I thought was kind of a dichotomy of terms. But what I want to say is that the oath of allegiance I took going into the U.S. military was to serve and protect the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign or domestic.
Does that mean big foreign megabanks robbing us blind with...
In fact, to me, the most enemies we have today are domestic. Now, the reason I bring this up, Alex, is because I've also seen the directives that have gone out to military people couched in so many terms, but basically saying you should not participate in any of these demonstrations or any of these marches that could be a violation of the uniform.
But Obama and Bush are allowed to have them ordered out to stand behind them at campaign speeches.
Right, right. The point, though, here is that in the military, you are sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States. And you're also told that you do not have to obey an illegal order, okay? The Constitution says we have freedom of speech. And in the military, as long as it's not security connected, you should have freedom of speech.
Yeah, you don't have
especially it. Especially if you're off duty.
When you're, when you're on duty, you don't. When you're off, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're ordered not to go participate in a...
You're still an American just because you're in the military?
That's an illegal order.
It is?
It's an illegal order because it violates the Constitution of the United States and the First Amendment. And your first obligation in the U.S. military is to defend the Constitution of the United States.
And here's how they try to play that ignorance of the military, not just on saying, as the Navy put out, don't go to this Ron Paul demonstration or you'll be reprimanded. Right. Incredible. When they've always been told... That's
an illegal order, by the way, folks. Guys and gals in the military, that's an illegal order.
It is.
It violates the Constitution, which supersedes any other regulation or law.
Marbury versus Madison. They could pass a law saying you can barbecue black children on the White House lawn or whatever, and right. It's illegal. I don't care if you say you have a law. Hitler had laws, but it was pure bull, but expanding.
All those people killed in the Holocaust were done under the color of law.
That's right.
Judges ruled on it, and they went right on, and it was all there.
Well, listen, black people were slaves in this country, and then couldn't own guns under law.
And it was the law.
You know what? If they said blacks weren't human tomorrow and were slaves, I say your law is full of garbage.
That's right.
Because the Constitution points out, this doesn't give you your rights, it points out rights that are there. And people criticize the founders that there was problems up front. It was those ideas that led to the abolition of slavery.
That's right.
But expanding. Under law, they can't give troops experimental vaccines, but they try to...
But they do it all the time.
And the troops had to learn, wait, you're not allowed to give me an experimental shot. So what if you say it's an order? The law says you can't do that. Again, they try to keep the troops, like the public, in the dark. But the fact that Ron Paul supporters in the military are 70+%, that's got to scare the system, Jim.
Well, it makes me feel good because I'm hoping that means 70% of our military, which is there to defend the country, is there to defend me, not the banks, not the multinational corporations.
But I'd forgotten that number, the Department of Defense.
Zero.
And, well, all those big defense contractors, zero.
No, they don't want Ron Paul. Our advertising for some big banks, and we used to joke about it. He'd say, listen, when they send you that World Bank card, don't take it. You know, and now we all have one.
Oh, Time Magazine says the Bank of the World and authoritarianism, but bankers. These aren't dictators. These are technocratic bankers. They're going to run everything, and they're going to raise your taxes, but they care about you.
I don't think so.
It was used as the primary tome for the hit film JFK with Oliver Stone. And he joins us here at the Lakewood Theater in Dallas, Texas. This way you don't have to drive to Austin to be on the show.
That's right.
So you're right here with us, and I should be plugging our Dallas affiliate, which I'll do actually in the next segment.
You want me to tell you how many RFID readers and photo cameras I passed coming down I-30?
How many?
Well, I was counting.
All right, we're back live, and Jim Mars is here with us on location. He was showing me what he bought at the Walmart earlier. They're selling little scissors. Part of the new sacrament in America is that all the feminists chop their husbands' testicles off so they learn how to serve the New World Order better.
No, every reporter has to have one of these, and there's like about 27 or 28.
Yeah, but 20 years ago when you warned people about that, it wasn't going to happen.
Oh, I was the conspiracy theorist and nut.
And, of course, world government wasn't going to happen. Now it's all public.
Right.
And the very bankers that, international bankers aren't going to get us. That's a conspiracy theory. But now the big mega banks are taking over.
Listen, 30 or 40 years ago when I was working, I worked with a guy who was with PL. So you clip out clippings. So you keep up with everything.
Exactly.
And when people say, how do you know that? You go, here, I've got a news clipping.
Exactly. It's documented. That was an attempt at lame humor, and I apologize to the family audience out there. I'm a little bit out of control. Jim Mars started his career as a crime reporter on the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And he's been covering the JFK assassination forever. And on top of that, he wrote the book that